Good afternoon, thank you very much and welcome here to O'Reilly's GAA in Drogheda. We are here for the second of 4 AIB 2021 All-Ireland Camogie Club Finals this year. If you were on our stream earlier on, you would have heard that Old Rule from Derry have beaten Clonmorris from Kerry 111 to 110 in the Junior A final. Now we are looking forward to the meeting of Derrylaughan from Tyrone, and on your screen Knockananna from County Wicklow. I'm Darren Kelly, joined by Elaine Aylward. And Elaine, some of our watchers here wouldn't have seen the first game, but the quality of that game, if this lives up to it, we're going to have a great day.
Absolutely. If any of the games over the weekend live up to the standard we saw in the first game here today, we're in for a super weekend of camogie. The standard of the hurling on display, the physicality, everything about it. It was a super game, so we're expecting more of the same here today.
This is the Junior B final, of course. It throws in at 2:30. Let's look at the two teams. We'll start with Derrylaughan on your screen. In goal, number 1, Orla Donnelly. Full-back line 2, the joint captain Anna McCann. 3, Emma Donnelly, and 4 is Brona Carney. Half-back line, number 5, Aisling Hagan. 6 is Anya Higney, and 7 is Rachel O'Neill. In midfield, we're number 8, Emma McShane. Partner number 9, Cassie Fitzgerald. The half-forward line 10, Shan Fitzgerald. 11, the other joint captain Emma McAliskey, and 12 is Ella Carney. And inside line, up at the right, number 13, Alicia Gervin. Full forward 14, Una McNeil, and top of the left, we're number 15, Queen McCoy.
Yeah, look, they'll probably come here as underdogs, I suppose, given that Knockananna were beaten in the All-Ireland final not too long ago. But, you know, as we saw in the first game here today, I suppose that underdogs tag sometimes can drive a team on, and, you know, it certainly was Owen Rua lifted their game here today, so we'll be expecting more of the same in the second game.
Yeah, of course, Derrylaughan's managers Alan Taylor on your screen there. Now we're going to Knockananna, who are in the All-Ireland final, losing out by 1 point to Tyrone's Nave Trassel. They've 1 change from the 15. In goal, number 1, Loretta Mutton. Full-back line 2, Derva Byrne. And number 21 is the full-back Ava Harmon, as she replaces number 3 and 4 is Alice Mulhall. Half-back line 5, Emily Mulhall. 6, Emily Haddon. And 7, Emer O'Sullivan. In midfield, we're number 8, Jessie Byrne. Partner number 9, Aidy Maher. Half-forward line 10, Shanna Gotlin. 11 is the captain Laura Hogan, and 12 is Roisin Byrne. Inside line of 13, Ciara Byrne. 14, Rachel Byrne. And 15, Rachel Byrne.
That'll be an easy one not to mix up in that full forward line with chance of Byrne, and there's a good chance it'll be one of them. But yeah, look, a really experienced team there as well, I suppose, from Knockananna. Will carry some of that hurt of the All-Ireland defeat from a couple of weeks ago into today's game, and look, won't want to succumb to a Tyrone opposition for the second time in a couple of months.
Now, before throw-in there, you can see the two teams lining up. We're going to have a minute's silence in memory of Jim Fitzgerald, who has passed away. Jim Fitzgerald is the father of Cassie, Shan and Louise Fitzgerald, who are on the Derrylaughan panel. They're all here today for this game, but a sad day for their family. And we have a minute's silence coming up now for Jim Fitzgerald from Derrylaughan in Tyrone. Yes, Sharon Mitchell, may he rest in peace. Our thoughts and prayers with all the Fitzgerald family. And now we have a rendezvous. And the crowd here for this AIB All-Ireland Junior B Camogie final looking forward to the game. Standing to attention for Rona Feeney. Referee is Kieran Groom from County Offaly. Standby official Carol Collins from Galway. Lisa Bannon from Cavan is the other line. Fourth official Sarah Govern from Galway. Again, Elaine, a good crowd here. Both sides of us in the commentary box. If they're as vocal as the crowd from the previous game, we're definitely going to have no voices going home.
And from that initial, once Rona Feeney finished there was that initial roar. So I think they've probably brought their A game as well. And it certainly added to the first game. And I think even from talking to the players afterwards, they certainly felt it out on the field. So the supporters from Knockananna and Derrylaughan will be hoping that they can do the same for their team here today.
So we're getting ready now. The teams get themselves in position. Of course, Derrylaughan, the team in white, they are going to be attacking the goal to the left in the first half, and Knockananna going to be going to the right in the green and yellow. Can Knockananna avoid Conor Morrison's fate of losing 2 All-Ireland finals in quick succession? Can Derrylaughan keep the All-Ireland Junior B title in Tyrone after Niamh Trass's success in the 2020 version? We will find out over the next hour or so. Stay with us here on the Camogie Association YouTube channel, brought to you in association with Entry. I'm Darren Kelly, joined by Elaine Aylward and Kieran Groom, the match referee, just getting themselves in position there to throw the ball in for the start of the 2021 AIB All-Ireland Junior B Camogie final. Making sure everyone's in position where they're meant to be. It's green against white. Here we go for the second of 4 All-Ireland Camogie finals this weekend. The ball is thrown in, that game is on. And Derrylaughan against Knockananna. And we're up and goal as Derrylaughan get the first strike of the ball, trying to bring it down towards the left. And Knockananna will try and show their composure. Emer O'Sullivan wears number 7 for the Wicklow side. But good work being put in there by the captain, Emma McGlisky, who was concerned she might have an injury leading into this game. Not to be, as you can see, she's out on the field of play, battling for her team. Amy Maher is the number 9 with the white helmet for Knockananna, and she did enough to hold up the ball. And a bit of football there from Jessie Byrne for Knockananna. They can play football in the Garden County as well, and she sends it down towards the right. The Derrylaughan substitutes have won the coin toss to be in front of us here in the commentary box, but they'll be watching the action on the field of play. Scramble for possession there as the Knockananna manager just getting our side there at the moment. Foul there for Knockananna, free Elaine in the early stages of the game, no lacking in intensity from either team.
Certainly not, up and down the sideline in front of us as was in the first game, and a good start there from Amy Maher in the middle of the field, getting involved straight away and winning that free and setting her team on the attack.
So now we're getting ready to restart the action. It's going to be a free for Knockananna, just over a minute gone. It's taken by Shantala Gotlin, and she sends it down towards the attack. Doesn't go too far. Cut out by Emma McShane for Derrylaughan, but she can't control the ball. And again, it's just both teams fighting for possession. Emma McAlliskey wins it for Derrylaughan, sends it down the field in the direction of Ella Carney, but Shanna Gotlin wins it back again for Knockananna and gives the pass to the red helmet the far side of the field, worn by Roisin Byrne in the number 12 jersey. Losing out to Aisling Hagan on this occasion. Aisling sends it down the middle, back to Emma again. It's Emma McAlliskey, Emma McShane, the two Emmas work together. Great strike from the number 8 for Derrylaughan, down towards the attack, maybe the first scoring chance of the game. Not today, says Emily Haddon. She wins the ball for Knockananna, she loses the hurl, she kicks the ball clear again, down in the direction of Roisin Byrne, and it's just both teams trying to settle into the contest, both fighting for possession. Knockananna now will try and create a scoring opportunity. Ciara Byrne wears number 13 for them, she has the ball, gives the pass over Amy Maher. Amy Maher misses it on the first occasion, but did enough to win the ball along the ground to Laura Hogan, the captain. Laura turns inside, looking for a shot, not to be. Aisling Hagan wins it back for Derrylaughan. There's a car causing an obstruction. You can hear the announcements in the background. It's not my car anyway, Elaine. It's yours. They're watching the attack from Derrylaughan. Queema Coyle, a dangerous player, goes with a shot. Queema Coyle puts the ball over the bar. 2.5 minutes into the game. Derrylaughan off the mark.
Yeah, and a super score from them. Lovely run down the heart of the defence there. Looked to be opening up in front of her. Did really, really well to get the shot away and get it over the bar. And as you said, the first real attack and the first score on the board.
Queema Coyle didn't score in the semi-final victory over Oran last week, but she has scored 5-5 in the Ulster Championship campaign over 2 games. Knockananna, how can they respond? You can see there Ava Harmon wearing 21 even though she replaced number 3, she's not in the number 3 position, she's in attack. We'll work out the positions on some of those players in a moment. She did well to win the ball, sends it across, but a push on the defender Aisling Hagan for Derrylaughan means it's a free out for the Tyrone side.
Yeah, and just to go back to those positional switches in the Knockananna team, number 6 Emily Hayden looks to have gone back into full back to replace the number 3 who didn't start, and number 10 Shanna Goleen has gone back to centre back. So a couple of positional changes there for Knockananna just to try and get their house in order.
Knockananna have possession again through Jessie Byrne, turns on Orion side, sends it up the field. Derrylaughan just keeping a bit of control of the ball, have won it back again about 50 yards out from the goal. 1 point to Derrylaughan, no score to Knockananna. The AIB All-Ireland Junior B Camogie final, and the pass in the direction of Emma McGilsky loses down on that occasion, won by the white helmet of Amy Maher, and Amy Maher's covered a lot of ground in the early stages of this game. Cassie Fitzgerald tries to get in the way of the Knockananna player, and players Emer O'Sullivan does enough to stop the advance for the time being. The 2 number 8s battle for the ball, and one of them is Emma McShane, but it's back in Knockananna hands as Amy Maher gives it to Emer O'Sullivan, and Emer O'Sullivan down the middle of the field but to no man's land, and it's won back by Anya Heagney. A few little, as you can expect, nervous mistakes from both teams, but both of them working very, very hard. Crossfield ball for Alicia Gervin. Alicia Gervin on the right, it's been a great score. It goes over the bar. They like it. What a score! And Derrylaughan certainly settling into the game now. 2 points to 0, 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's the other corner forward on this occasion, Alicia Gervin, who popped up with that score down the right. But again, a lovely, lovely score. And look, they look to want to attack quick into the Knockananna defence and use the speed of those corner forwards.
Roisin Byrne moving down the left, getting away from Aisling Hagan in towards the attack, trying to find Rachel Byrne on the ball here now, getting away from the fullback whose name is Emma Donnelly. Rachel turns on her left hand side, sends the pass inside, looking for Eva Harmon. Eva Harmon has the ball for Knockananna, a chance here for the first score. Good block down on that occasion. I think Brona Carney took the sting out of it, but the danger is not being averted. Scramble here as Knockananna trying to get a big score. Derrylaughan pulling their bodies back there to get in the way, but big careless in defending, it has to be said. Knockananna looking to get something out of this. Rachel Byrne has the ball. Rachel Byrne with the shot, a deserving score for Knockananna. They are off the mark. It's taken 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, when Derrylaughan will be lucky it wasn't a bigger score there. You know, credit to Knockananna. They got in there, got the block in, could have maybe snuck in for a goal, but did really well to get the point, and a super response to the initial score from Derrylaughan.
Knockananna from Wicklow 1 point, Derrylaughan from Tyrone 2. It's on the move again for Laura Hogan. Laura Hogan down the left trying to get a bit of space, was fouled in the process, so it's going to be a free in for Knockananna, and this will be an opportunity now, Elaine, an opportunity for Ciara Byrne to level the teams. Certainly,
yeah, and a great run there from Laura Hogan. You know, had the momentum, knew she had the advantage, so stayed driving forward. If she'd gotten away with open road into goal, but happy enough to call it back for the free, and a chance, as you said, now for them to add a second point in quick succession.
We've played over 6 minutes there. The supporters hadn't stopped the whole way through, and all of a sudden they went quiet at the moment when the free was taken. Ciara Byrne takes the free, she puts the ball over the bar, and in the blink of an eye, they're all spare here. It's 2 points apiece.
Yeah, just like that, you know, and a super response for them. As I said, 2 points now to Derrylaughan's quick start, so up to Derrylaughan now to find a response to that.
It's kind of a carbon copy of what happened in the Junior A final beforehand. Con Morris getting a couple of scores and Onrua pegging it back, but it's Derrylaughan who win the free in the middle of the field. And just looking around, as you can see on your screen, conditions superb for Camogie and excellent facilities from the O'Reilly's GA club here in Drogheda as Derrylaughan start the next attack down the centre, down in the direction of Cueva Coyle, but not to be as Emer O'Sullivan gets in the way. Good composure, good holding of the ball from Emer O'Sullivan to get it to hand and to get the clearance and send it out towards the middle of the park, trying to find Laura Hogan. Anya Heagney getting in the way there for Derrylaughan, but the ball is still in the hands of Knockananna, and Derva Byrne trying to get it away, just blocked down the first occasion. Derrylaughan fighting for the ball. This is an opportunity for Derrylaughan, an opportunity for a score. It's a Cueva goal again, a danger goal! A goal for Derrylaughan, and just exposed in the middle. Cueva Coyle was sending the ball inside, but it dropped in towards the house, and it's their number 14, Una O'Neill, who gets the goal, and Derrylaughan have a big advantage.
Yeah, a real goal, a poacher's instinct in there, followed the ball the whole way in, and when it broke from the keeper, she was there to finish it in there. A super start from them.
I have no doubt now that Tom Byrne won't be happy with how these defenders acted there, because as Elaine just said there, Una O'Neill pushing inside, there was that one-on-one with the keeper, got the touch that was needed, and Derrylaughan have the goal. Derrylaughan 1-2 Knockananna 2 points. Knockananna on the attack again through Ava Harmon. In towards the house, looking for Ciara Byrne. Somebody shouts for Ciara in the crowd. The ball goes to the right and wide, but Knockananna has shown what they're capable of doing as well, but you can't afford slips like that in the early stages of an All-Ireland final.
Yeah, good ball in, but probably just a little bit asked a little bit too much of the full forward line inside there and just gave them too much to chase. But as you said, creating the chances, and look, the important part is not to panic now. They've conceded a goal, but there's still time. They've conceded it early. They need to start to work up a couple of scores and just get themselves back into it.
The team's not wasting time getting on with the action. Knockananna have a chance again through Rachel Byrne. Rachel Byrne out the right, but she's left on her own. Finds the pass to Roisin. As Roisin also of the Byrne clan, the referee spotted a foul. It's going to be a free and a challenge. I think a stick with another hand of Roisin Byrne. She is on the ground. There might be a brief hold up and play. I don't know if there'll be any cards for this or not, but Knockananna with a Derrylaughan player on the ground as well. But Knockananna will get a chance to react to the goal.
Yeah, it looked to be a heavy enough challenge on her hand, and I think it was her right hand she went down clutching maybe. But as you said, a chance now for them to respond to that goal, and an important free for them.
Knockananna went down to Naomh Trasna from Tyrone in the 2020 final by just 1 point. They responded well in this campaign, beating St. Bride's and St. Bridget's in their Leinster Championship campaign. St. Bride's in the final 112 to 1-1. They beat St. Bridget's from Leeds 5-7 to 7 points in the Leinster semi-final in a 215 to 1-2 victory over Fulham Gales from Manchester in the All-Ireland semi-final. They've certainly been shown the form since losing the 2020 final.
Absolutely, but I suppose worryingly from them, it was an early goal in that All-Ireland final a couple of months ago that ultimately cost them as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they've learned from that and how they can respond to the concession of an early goal here again today.
Lightning has struck twice, but how they react exactly is the way it's going to be. We're still watching Roisin Byrne there. She receives some attention. Roisin Byrne did get a point in that semi-final victory over Fulham Gales, but we're watching Ciara Byrne now getting ready to take this just outside the 20-metre line. An important one it will be even this early into the game. 10 minutes gone. Junior B All-Ireland Camogie final. Ciara Byrne with the shot. That goes to the left and wide. A couple of wides early on in the game, Elaine. That'll be a disappointing one though.
Yeah, and look, as I said, it was an important one for them, I suppose, just to eat into that goal that they've just conceded, just to get themselves a bit of a footing, because they are playing with whatever slight little breeze from speaking to the players in the first game. There is a slight little breeze maybe favouring the team playing down into that right hand goal.
Jessie Byrne sent the dangerous ball in for Knockananna. Again the goalkeeper Orla Donnelly comes out to meet it, but again Knockananna getting players inside, and Derrylaughan needs to be careful as well. They saw what happened the other end. Knockananna continue the battle. Derrylaughan defenders getting in the way, a touch along the ground, but it's only going to come out as far as Ava Harmon, and Ava Harmon will go from a very tight angle. It's always going to be difficult to get those. That ball might stay in play yet, and Sarah Byrne was banking on that wood, but not to be in that occasion. Derrylaughan making difficult work out the defending there.
Yeah, they're making the chances hard, and in fairness they're making Knockananna shoot from hard, from distance and from angles that they wouldn't be that comfortable with. So look, they're anxious to get the play underway again and the quick puck outs.
Tackle on the middle of the field there as Emer Sullivan tries to advance, but stopped by Sean Fitzgerald on that occasion. Here after 11 minutes, it's the All-Ireland final. Derrylaughan from Tyrone 1-2, Knockananna from Wicklow 2 points, and we have a free out, says the match official, and it's going to be a free out for Derrylaughan. They're definitely the player on the bottom of that pile was a Derrylaughan player, so it's going to be an opportunity. It's the fullback actually, and it's going to be Emma Donnelly to take this free for Derrylaughan, and she restarts the action with a long drive inside the 45-metre line, hoping to find a teammate. Knockananna with a defender there, and that defender is Emily Haddon, and Emily Haddon needed a second goal, but she took it on the second goal and gives the pass in for Amy Maher. Amy Maher on the run, gets away from the two Fitzgeralds, continues on the go, pass out towards the left hand side of the field, hoping that one of her teammates will get on that. Sarah Byrne missing out, but there's another player in there, and Knockananna in for an opportunity to score. The opportunity for a score, it's gone over the bar. The response that Knockananna needed has finally come in the 13th minute of the game. It comes from their captain Laura Hogan, 3 points to 1-2.
Yeah, and a score that was built from the defence back there. Really important interception by Emily Hayden, committed to that ball, got out there, did really well to win it, and then delivered the ball down into the space. And that's the kind of ball they need to get in there. Those are the kind of shots they need to be taken. That was a certain more scoring opportunity than some of the ones they've created before.
Again, Ava Harmon, of course, she is the late change, but she's making a lot of ground down the right as well and getting well involved with the play. Finds another teammate as well. That teammate is Ciara Byrne. It doesn't come back to Ava. It comes to Rachel Byrne on this occasion. Rachel turns on the left hand side. It's going to be dangerous. You can see Ciara Byrne swing the stick up there. That got the touch, an almost certain goal.
Yeah, Sarah was watching it the whole way and, got the flick but just didn't quite make the connection. And, as you said, it could have been a real dangerous ball in there and could have ended up in the goal.
Not to be in this occasion for Knockananna, but they are pushing there, applying the pressure. They're only 2 points behind. We look at the clock, 13 minutes gone in this game. 1-2 to 3 points. The puck out taken by Orla Donnelly in the far side of the field as Knockananna try and overturn possession, and that is exactly what they have done. A pass in towards the middle into the direction of Rachel Byrne. Rachel Byrne has the ball. Pass out towards the left, out for Laura Hogan. Laura Hogan holds onto the ball. She's gotten the score now, looks around, but she get a second. Turns on her right hand side, hits the shot. Again going across the goal, and these wides are starting to build up. I have it 5-0 at the moment, Elaine. I don't know if I'm accurate on that, but they're missing a few chances.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're creating them, and just the conversion is just not there at the moment. And as I said, they're probably taking shots that are not quite on, and maybe a little bit more patience in there.
Careless there from Derrylaughan, and the ball is won by Rachel Byrne. Can she punish them for that indiscretion? Derrylaughan get the players back as well and deal with the danger on that occasion, but the short puck out certainly not working out on that occasion. Knockananna have the ball again. They have it through Ciara Byrne, and Ciara Byrne has gone off a stick, says the umpire, so they're going to get a 45 on this occasion. But Derrylaughan can't afford to be sloppy with Knockananna creating these chances.
No, and the puck out there from Orla Donnelly, I suppose Emma Donnelly had taken some of the previous ones, didn't on that occasion. They went short, and look, they were very lucky, I suppose, that Rachel Byrne didn't intercept it directly. She would have been straight through on goal, but Knockananna certainly are creating the chances down there, and you'd worry that there's only so long that Derrylaughan can actually hold out. So they probably need to relieve a bit of that pressure and get up the field now from this puck out or dead ball, whatever it comes from the 45.
If Ciara Byrne puts this over the bar, it'll be back to a 1 point ball game. A Derrylaughan player just receiving some attention, so we're just having a hold up for a couple of moments of tightly contested as it is. The fullback for Derrylaughan, Emma Donnelly, is okay. She's back on her feet. Ciara Byrne not wasting any time, taking the 45, and Derrylaughan resigned to their fate already, and it's gone over the bar. They've replied to the goal with 2 points. It's back to a 1 point ball game, 4 points to 1-2.
Yeah, and they'll be happy with the response that they've gotten there. They've been creating the chances, so I suppose that will give them a little bit of hope that they have been creating the chances. While they haven't scored them all, they certainly seem to have found a bit of a groove up there at the minute now, and they're starting to repel back the Derrylaughan puck outs.
1-2 to 4 points here as the black car causing the obstruction is still continuing, and if it doesn't belong to any of us, we can reassure you, and I don't think anybody else is going to leave till half time. Certainly not if Amy Maher continues to run like this, because that's who has the ball. Gives the pass inside to a teammate. That teammate is Ciara Byrne. Ciara Byrne with that shot puts the ball over the bar. The sides are level here in Drogheda in the AIB Junior B Camogie final. Excellent score, 5 points to 1-2.
Yeah, lovely little bit of 1-2 play there from Amy Maher into Ciara Byrne, and a super score from her. Looked to be dipping as it headed for the crossbar. Could have been dangerous, but just dipped over it. But again, Knockananna now starting to find their groove up there.
It is 3 points in a row for Knockananna since the Derrylaughan goal that came on 8 minutes. We have played 16 minutes, 1-2 to 5 points, and 4 players battle for possession right in front of us here in the commentary box. And Emer O'Sullivan is the aggressive number 7 from Knockananna, but in comes Emma McAliskey, the joint captain of Derrylaughan. She got her boot to the ball, but got too much purchase on it, and it's going to be a Knockananna sideline cut, and it's going to be taken by Shanna Gutlin, wearing number 10, but playing at centre back in this game. Takes the short one. 2 teammates there in front, but they only get it as far as the 45-metre line. The hunger from both players again in both the finals today has been excellent to see. Referee Kieran Groom not happy with what, or Kieran Groom I should say, not happy with what he's watching, and is going to throw the ball in on the 45-metre line. Wants players to stand back, 2 players stepping in for this. Amy Maher is the Knockananna player. She's in the white helmet and the green and yellow jersey. Emma McShane was the Derrylaughan player in for that as well, and a bit of ground gain by Derrylaughan, but Knockananna, and again Emer O'Sullivan getting in the way, goes out over the line. It's going to be a sideline cut for Derrylaughan, and they'll try and in their drought of scores. Midway between the 20 and 45-metre line, Emma McShane going to have another go. Hits it hard there, but only hits a teammate. A teammate is Emma McAliskey. She'll hit it along the ground as well. Some good ground hurling here, but only as far as Shanna Gotlin. Was the hurl being held? I think it was. Free out for Knockananna. Shanna Goatlin wanted to take it out of her hands, which, as far as I understand, you're allowed to do now.
Yeah, and the ref maybe just taking a little bit of a note, maybe a mark against one of the Derrylaughan players, but the free taken from the hands eventually, and Knockananna on the attack again.
Ava Harmon sends it inside in the direction of Sarah Byrne. Sarah Byrne turns well, did very, very well. Can she get the score out of this? Goes with a shot, goes to the right and wide. Knockananna are huffing and puffing, but they're not blowing any houses down just at the moment. It's all square here, 5 points to 1-2.
Super little bit of play there, the little flick over the head and the control, and the finish just didn't quite match the build up.
Referee just starting to blow the whistle a bit there now. A few things he's not happy with, and Knockananna not happy with the decision. It's a Derrylaughan ball nonetheless, and it's going to be taken about the 65-metre line, or what will be the 65-metre line. We don't have one here, not that we need it in Camogie. The full back for Derrylaughan, it's Emma Donnelly, and she is going to take this and restart the action. Derrylaughan might just want to slow things down a little bit, get the composure back into the game, down towards the opposing 45-metre line, but first to the ball again is Emer O'Sullivan. She's working as hard as anyone on the field, giving it towards Amy Maher, but Derrylaughan, the players, putting everything into the cause as well. Emma McAliskey is there, has the ball. She did well to get that ball, it has to be said. 3 players around her. The pressure eventually told. Jessie Byrne wins it back for Knockananna, gives it to Shanna Goatlin, and Shanna sends it out the far side of the field, hoping that Roisin Byrne will get in this, but she's going to come out second best to Aisling Hagan on this occasion. Aisling needs support. She did have Anna McCann in front of her, but decided to go for the pass to Anya Heagney. Comes for Ciara Byrne. Ciara down to Rachel. Rachel again up to Burns. Turns inside, an opportunity here for Rachel Byrne. Tries to take on a second player. Goes for a kick in towards the goal. Derrylaughan needs to be very, very careful. And Orla Donnelly beats the ball and gets it down in the direction of Emma McShane. Emma McShane, a long drive again towards the other 45-metre line. Into-win stuff going on at the moment, as the turn now of the Knockananna halfbacks to deal with the ball, and Shanna Goatlin, who started the original attack, and Knockananna got stopped, now starts another attack looking for Ava Harmon. Derrylaughan say no, we'll take the ball back, thank you very much. Quiva Coyle out in the middle of the field, but back in for the ball with Amy Maher. Amy Maher with the pass. The referee blew the whistle. You were just hoping he wouldn't on that occasion. I was happy enough to keep talking about that.
Yeah, and I think Knockananna would have been happy to go forward. You know, they had the momentum, they'd gotten away from the tackle. The pull was a little bit high and a little bit dangerous though, so I suppose the right thing to do just to pull it back, but a chance now for them to go on the attack again.
Correct decision from the official. The foul was committed. Shanna Goatlin sends the ball inside, doesn't find a teammate. Derrylaughan in possession again, brought out near the 45-metre line, but control of the ball not being held on to. Knockananna working very, very hard now to try and get the ball back. Ciara Byrne getting involved in a lot of these battles for possession. There's about 6 players in there having their own mini scrum. The referee is going to blow that, and again these little bits there just holding the play up. The referee has to do it, rightfully so, to do it as well. Both teams determined not to give an inch. Yeah,
just so keenly contested. The ball is just slow to come out of those rucks, and you know, both teams getting numbers in around them.
Amy Maher did well to bring the ball in that occasion, but didn't get too far away, as Anya Heagney got a stick in the way. It's still Knockananna though. This is Rachel Byrne. Referee says it was a throw, so it's going to be a free out.
Yeah, and in the perfect position to make the call on that. And you know, lucky I think for Derrylaughan was probably a little bit of a let off. The momentum was with Knockananna going forward, and they had the player over on the overlap, but obviously no clear striking action with that hand pass, so happy enough to call it back.
9 minutes to go to half time here in the 2021 AIB All-Ireland Junior B Camogie final. Emma Donnelly to take this for Derrylaughan and restarts the action, sends it down towards the right. Roisin Byrne trying to get a stick up in that. It might come for Alicia Gervin. She wears number 13 for Derrylaughan. She did enough to make sure a teammate came in to help out. Emma McAliskey there for the Tyrone side, but Knockananna have it back again, and they have it back from Emily Mulhall. Emily Mulhall doesn't get the ball too far away, and again it's a hunger to fight for the possession. Derva Byrne had it there, gets dispossessed, wins the ball back again, and it's Shanna Goatlin working hard there at centre back. Does very, very well to bring the ball into space. Needs a teammate, needs a supporter. Amy Maher comes to the cause, and Amy Maher goes in the run again. Now the space is open up, and there's a player in front. Goes to the kick. She probably should have hit that with a hurl in towards the Sarah Byrne, who was waiting for it. It might work out. Laura Hogan has it. Laura Hogan goes for the shot. Laura Hogan with the point, and Knockananna, they're taking their time, but they've gotten their noses in front. 23 minutes gone, it's 6 points to 1-2.
Yeah, and all came from great work from Shanna Gold back in her own, wearing number 10 but playing at centre back, and certainly driving forward like a true wing forward time and time again, and setting up those attacks. And Amy Maher's really starting to come into things around the middle of the field.
Shan Fitzgerald starting the Derrylaughan attack, but Knockananna have possession back again, and down the right there, good work in the occasion by Jessie Byrne. Jessie Byrne gives it to Ciara Byrne. Ciara Byrne again trying to get away from Rachel O'Neill, sends it down a bit further, and Knockananna, you can see the game plan is starting to show. Rachel Byrne turns on the left side, two players underneath this. Sarah Byrne knew what to do. Laura Hogan there in support if need be, gives it to Laura. Laura Hogan will go for the shot, she puts the ball over the bar, and two very quick scores for Laura Hogan. Has put two between them, 7 points to 1-2.
Yeah, they certainly are starting to find their range up there. They're just finding one another that little bit easier with the play, and Rachel Byrne is coming out deeper. She's not waiting for that ball to come in, and when she does, then she's spraying ball inside, and credit to Ciara Byrne on that occasion, got onto it. Lovely pop pass back out to Laura Hogan and her second point.
7 points to 1-2, 5 in a row for Knockananna. We have played 23 and a half minutes off the first half here, and again an unofficial water break, as of course water breaks gone in Camogie now, but there's a hold up and play. Derrylaughan player just receiving some attention, and a few players are getting a drink, getting a breather, getting some instructions.
Yeah, I think came around the same time as it did in the first half of the first game. So look, just an injury to a player, I suppose, and a chance for players. It's unusually warm out there today. I suppose 2 weeks ago when they would have played All-Ireland semi-finals, we had storms and wind and rain, and we've a bit of sunshine here today. So as you said, a chance for them maybe to get an unofficial water break.
Yeah, even when I was driving up the draw today, my car was saying it was only 7 degrees outside, but it felt much warmer than indeed. I had the window open on occasions too to let it in too. It's a sign that the spring is working its way into Ireland.
Absolutely, yeah, and I was the same driving up the motorway. The heat from the sun, I had the passenger's window down just to try and let a bit of air into the car, and I think the players are certainly starting to feel it out there today. We're in the shade of the stand here at the minute, but once we got out onto the field after the first game, you could tell straight away that there was heat and the sunshine out there. So look, the start of a new year, I suppose the end of 2020 for these players, but or 2021, but 2022 championship not too far away.
And yes, you might have realised in previous commentaries the confusion over what years of particular games due to the pandemic, but this is the final weekend of 2021 Camogie, unless of course any of these games have finished level. There will be a replay, there will not be extra time, and this one very, very tight in the early stages as Knockananna start another attack, and it's Laura Hogan. Laura Hogan looks towards the right there, just didn't hold on to it. Good defending from Anya Higney for Derrylaughan, and she wins the ball, sends it down towards Emma McShane, who is a consistent presence for them, gives it to Emma McAliskey, and the pass in the direction of Caoimhe Coyle gets away from her, won back by Emer O'Sullivan, and Emer O'Sullivan is going to take the ball out the field for Knockananna. Didn't get too far with the pass, but Shanna Goatland was there reading it well. The referee spotted a foul, going to be a free for Knockananna, and two players in that are catching my eye in the half back line for Knockananna are Emer O'Sullivan and Shanna Goatland.
Absolutely, yeah, both of them similar enough players, anxious to get on the ball and drive forward at every opportunity. Two real pacey players as well, and when they get out, it's heads up hurling. They're looking for their forwards, making the runs inside.
Emma Donnelly also busy at the full back for Derrylaughan, but they've lost possession again, and Knockananna strain the passes around. Three players involved, the delivery comes in, that's going to be met by Brona Carney, and Brona Carney will bring it out towards the 45 metre line. Eventually managed to find a teammate, but the pressure being applied again by Knockananna, who is certainly the stronger team in the second quarter, and again it's Amy Maher, another player impressive, to Ava Harmon. Ava Harmon down the right, good work again by Brona Carney, not making it easy, but Knockananna are getting the bodies in. Ciara Byrne told her pulling the trigger the first time, she will the second time, probably snatched it a little bit. She probably should have trusted her instinct. Unfortunately for her, it goes wide. We're going to have a substitution. Yeah,
the first shot was probably the one that was on for Ciara there, but I suppose anxious that there might have been a potential block in, so held on to it for a second later, and as you said, just pulled it right and wide then, but certainly creating the chances up front, and as you said, plenty of movement up there.
I'm just wondering, was Anna McCann pick up an injury there? She was a player receiving some attention. Niamh McErlin is coming on the field for Derrylaughan. There's a few positional switches. I think I saw Ella Carney working her way back to defence as well. So a blow for Derrylaughan that their joint captain is gone. Niamh McErlin is on the field to play. I'm guessing there was a knock there now. It could be a tactical decision as well, Elaine.
Yeah,
hard to tell, but Derrylaughan have made a change.
She was the player receiving attention, so, and as you said, a couple of positional changes, so it doesn't look like a move that they would have liked to have made, but maybe have been forced to make.
They've been forced to make it at the moment. We look at the clock, 3 minutes to half time, 2 points between the teams, 7 points to Knockananna, 1-2 to Derrylaughan. The scramble for the ball, the far side of the field, white jerseys and green jerseys in there, and Derrylaughan need to start winning a few of these before half time to cut it down. Maybe Ella Carney will have more luck playing as a defender. Now that she does passes like that, gives the ball away. Knockananna drop one in towards Rachel Byrne inside, and the players are queuing up from Knockananna to get in this. Sarah Byrne has a shot, didn't get the power on that she wanted. Orla Donnelly will clear that out the middle, out in the direction of Ella Carney. Ella Carney goes to ground. Cassie Fitzgerald gets a touch, but the foul comes back for Ella Carney. Derrylaughan get a reprieve, and Ella Carney, she's really looking wound up out there, determined to get on with it. She takes the free herself from the hand, down the middle of the field, and all of a sudden an opportunity opens up with Cueva Coyle to get this into her hand. She didn't, and Knockananna gets the defenders in the way. Emily Mulhall involved in that defensive effort as Emily Haddon wins possession, gives the pass out for Alice Mulhall, and Alice Mulhall will bring it out towards the middle of the field again. The two number 9s go to battle. Cassie Fitzgerald against Amy Marr. Amy Marr follows in to try and take on Shannon Fitzgerald just outside the Knockananna 45-metre line, and Emer O'Sullivan, she's happy enough to bring the ball back when need be, as Emer O'Sullivan wins the ball, sends it up the fields. It'll come for Ciara Byrne. Ciara Byrne sends it in towards the house again, sends it in towards Rachel Byrne. A bit of space open up here for Knockananna. Derrylaughan can't afford to concede a goal before half time. Rachel Byrne, she teased it, but she gets the point. 29 minutes gone, and it's another score for Knockananna, 8 points to 1-2.
Yeah, and one that built all the way back from Emer O'Sullivan at right half back there. Super long ball up from Ciara Byrne when she collected it, and Rachel Byrne had made the run out, and she certainly did tease the shot at goal. She teed it up on her left hand side, and there was power behind it. If it had been little bit lower, you'd imagine it would have rattled the back of the net.
8 points to 1-2, 3 between them, and Derrylaughan certainly can't afford to concede any more scores before half time. You would feel they haven't really troubled the opposing goal since they got their own goal that put them 1-2 to 2 points in front, but 6 in a row for Knockananna, and it's Emer O'Sullivan on the move again down the right, gives the pass for Ava Harmon. Another pass inside for Rachel Byrne. Rachel Byrne with a shot, Rachel Byrne with a score. Yes it is, it's gone over the bar, and that's the score that Derrylaughan did not want to concede. Emer O'Sullivan involved again. Rachel Byrne with the finish, 9 points to 1-2.
Yeah, and Emer O'Sullivan, a wing back there that just wants to play ball. She'd gone for the return pass again there from Elva Harmon, but you know, it was a little pop over back into Rachel Byrne again, a full forward, and another score for her, and she's causing that Derrylaughan defence a lot of problems in there. She's wearing 14, but she's certainly not holding that full forward position. She's timing her runs perfectly, and her outfield players know where to hit her with those passes.
Can Derrylaughan get a score before half time? Bring it back to a 3-point ball game. We're gone past the 30 minutes. We haven't seen any indication from the fourth official about what the added time will be. We have Cueva Coyle. They need this, Derrylaughan. They need this, and it hasn't come. It's gone to the left and wide. Elaine, I think it's their first wide of the game. Cueva Coyle very, very close. They could have doubled that score. Yeah,
they needed that score just to stop the kind of rot that's setting in now. It's been all Knockananna for the last 10 or 15 minutes, and they've been putting it on the scoreboard, which is where it really counts. So Derrylaughan could certainly have done with a score now coming up to half time, just to close that gap maybe and give them something to carry into the dressing room at half time.
Laura Hogan on the move down the left in the direction of Sarah Byrne, and the referee, the foul in Laura Hogan afterwards. A late challenge coming in. Somebody is going to be in trouble with this. Like with Derrylaughan there, they've really struggled now, and we know what they showed in the early stages of the match, what they're capable of here as well. But Knockananna have left a lot of chances behind, now starting to build up an advantage, and Derrylaughan needs to get on top of this, definitely in the half-time team talk.
Yeah, they need to try and start breaking down that Knockananna, the short passing game. They're finding their players that much easier with the ball, and I suppose the difference at the moment is they have the scoring forwards up front that are capable of taking the scores. It took them a while to find their range, as we said, but now that they have found it, they're making better use of the ball. They're being a little bit more patient in their build up, and they're probably taking the right opportunities for the opening couple of minutes there. They were probably snapping at shots and maybe not getting into the better position, whereas now you have Rachel Byrne inside making those runs, getting into the positions, and they're using the player that's in the better position to take the shot.
Cassie Fitzgerald was the player that received the yellow card for Derrylaughan. Laura Hogan back in her feet. What a presence she's had. She missed the semi-final. She was away too for Knockananna with the Beef Full and Gale. She certainly played her part, a captain's role in this final so far.
Yeah, absolutely. She's really been involved in everything that's been good. 3 points to her own name, but is playing a moving role from that centre forward position and is breaking up any attempted counter attacks from Derrylaughan.
So play continues. I wasn't quite sure what happened there, but we started the play. Not too sure if it was the score or not. Either way, play continues on. Ava Harmon out on the right hand side of the field. And again, a battle in towards the corner there. Derrylaughan getting players involved there to try and get them out, but withstand the pressure. Laura Hogan with the shot at the post, and it drops out. Sarah Byrne, a chance, a goal. Is it gone? No, it didn't go in. I thought myself it got in for a moment, but it hasn't gone in. And Derrylaughan get it out the field. I thought Sarah Byrne got the touch there, but just did not direct it onto the goal. It doesn't count. And play continues on, but Knockananna still have possession. Laura Hogan will have another go at this. Laura Hogan with the shot, and it's batted out there by Orla Donnelly. And Derrylaughan needs to be quicker here. I think the referee has blown the half-time whistle. A 4-point ball game there. Knockananna, much the better team, Elaine, have to be said. Your overall thoughts?
Yeah, look, Derrylaughan got out of jail on that occasion. It was like slow motion watching that ball come back across the goal and back roll along the end line. And I think the players even thought maybe it had been gone in by their reactions. But yeah, certainly, look, Knockananna struggled, I suppose, for the first 5 or 10 minutes, rattled by that early goal, but certainly since they found their groove and started to find their scoring boots up front, they have been the better team for that first half. Derrylaughan, as I said, got out of jail with that chance now, and they go in, only 4 points down as opposed to what could be 7, so it's not an insurmountable lead, but from at this point, Knockananna do look to be the stronger team.
Derrylaughan, a lot to think about at half-time. Knockananna in control, though they could have made it easier for themselves. We hope you're enjoying our coverage brought to you here on the Camogie Association YouTube channel in association with Entry. We'll be back in about 10 minutes' time with live coverage of the second half of the 2021 All-Ireland Junior B Club Camogie Final. Looking good for Knockananna at the moment. They lead by 4 points. The half-time score here in Drogheda. Knockananna, 9 points. Derrylaughan, 1-2. Thank you very much and welcome back here to O'Reilly's GA in Drogheda. This is the 2021 AIB All-Ireland Junior B Club Camogie Final. I'm Darren Kelly, joined by Liam Aylwood. The two teams have just come back on the field of play, as has the match official. We're not wasting any time. We might be having a Derrylaughan substitute. Both teams, Elaine, eager to get on with this.
Yeah, both teams back out eager. I suppose Knockananna will feel the momentum was with them going into half-time. They had that goal chance just before half-time, and I suppose Derrylaughan on the other hand will want to get out then, and they'll want to try and impose themselves on the game, which they haven't really been able to do for the majority of that first half. So anxious obviously to get back on the field and to try and carve into that deficit.
I think there's a hole up there. I'm not too sure if Derrylaughan were planning to make a substitution or not. There was a player there in front of us, gone back inside. We'll confirm that in just a moment. Indeed, a player late coming back out is Anya Heagney. So she's back out on the field of play, and we're getting ready for the start of the second half. And Kieran Groom, the match official from Offaly. Derrylaughan attacking the goal to the right in the second half. They need to make things happen because Knockananna lead by 4 points and probably left a few scores behind them as well. Of course, the goal from Una O'Neill for Derrylaughan, very, very important. And we're going to have a second throw in 10 seconds in, and it's Knockananna with possession. Amy Maher sending it down in the direction of Roisin Byrne there with the red helmet in front of us, up against Aisling Hagan, and Roisin Byrne moves down the left hand side of the field. Referee says she was fouled in the process. Going to be a free in for Knockananna, and a chance for them maybe to get the first score in the second half.
Yeah, and exactly the start Derrylaughan didn't need, Knockananna on the attack straight away, running at the defence, drawing the foul, and a chance for them to just keep their momentum up.
You just get the feeling a couple of scores here will get Knockananna in kind of the winner's enclosure territory. Ciara Byrne about to take this free for Knockananna. It's going to drop short. Derrylaughan need to be very careful. Good bat out there, and the ball will come in the direction of Ella Carney, and Ella Carney gets the ball out for Derrylaughan out towards the 45-metre line. Emma McShane puts the stick up as well to turn it away from Ciara Byrne, but needs her teammates to react. Rachel O'Neill is there now as well, and it's back towards Emma McShane, who sends it down towards the right. Shannon Goatland wins it back for Knockananna towards the 45-metre line, down the centre as well. A bit of tennis to start off the second half. Why not? Emma McLiskey with Derrylaughan gets a bit of space. That's an excellent pass, but an excellent block again from Shannon Goatland from the Everett from Cassie Fitzgerald. Cassie gives it to Emma McLiskey, and Emma McLiskey down towards the inside line, but Knockananna, Blair and Emily Hatton should win that. They haven't cleared it yet, and Derrylaughan trying to apply the pressure. Knockananna get it out towards the 45-metre line. Scoring opportunity here for Derrylaughan. The ball has gone over the bar. It's a score that Derrylaughan badly needed. It has arrived, and it's come from Emma McLiskey after 2 minutes, 9 points to 1 try.
Yeah, I said it came from a chance maybe Knockananna had at the far end. Really, really well defended by Derrylaughan. They went on the attack themselves, and a super score, and they find themselves back in the game.
Can they get another one? Can they bring it back to a 2-point ball game? They just want to chip away at the deficit. Plenty of time for Derrylaughan to get themselves back in the match. They have a sideline cut, the far side of the field, and the bit of momentum up. They did start the first half strong. They did get the first 2 points in the game. They got the goal afterwards, but struggled in the second quarter, and no doubt Alan Taylor, Claire Fitzgerald and Sean Gervin talked to the players at half time about that, but they have to hold on to the ball. They launch an attack, well won by Emily Mulhall on that occasion for Knockananna. Give the pass to Alice of the Mulhall clan, and Alice Mulhall sends it down for Ciara Byrne. Ciara Byrne doesn't hold on to the ball at the moment. Derrylaughan marking very, very tightly. The referee says something illegal. Going to be a free for Knockananna. They want to take it quickly. Maybe there's a gap inside. Ball sent down in the direction of Rachel Byrne. Rachel Byrne's going to go for this. Rachel Byrne is on the move. Knockananna with a big chance of a shot. A goal for Knockananna. 3 minutes into the second half. Rachel Byrne with a bullet to the net. 6 points between the teams.
Yeah, and they knew in the stand here what was happening once that free was won. It was going to go quick, and it had to go into Rachel Byrne. And when she got that ball in her hand, we saw her, as you said, tease it a couple of times in that first half there, but once she got onto her left hand side that close to the goal, it was a bullet, and it gave no chance to the Derrylaughan goalie. And it all came from a very simple free that they gave away in defence, and they've been made to pay now on the scoreboard.
6 points between the teams. The next score is vital, you would feel. Derrylaughan do not want to go 7 behind. Shanna Goatland has the ball for Knockananna, down in the direction of Sarah Byrne. Sarah Byrne can't hold on to the ball. 2 Derrylaughan players are there. Aisling Hagan, the player that wins it. Good support from Ella Carney. This is Emma McShane, but the pressure has called out there by the supporters of Knockananna. See them push Derrylaughan back, but eventually the Tyrone side get the clearance down the field of play. and it's now won by the fullback, was it Anya Byrne? Well, not Anya Byrne, because she didn't start the game. It was actually won by Emily Mulhall, and Emily Mulhall sent it down the field, but it's won back again by Ella Carney, and Ella Carney will send it back down the field again, back in towards the attack. Derrylaughan, is this a chance to get back into the game? Knockananna getting the players back, getting in front of the ball, and making it very, very difficult for their opponents. Knockananna with possession. Emily Haddon with a touch, found the space I think of Amy Maher. Amy Maher though just isolated on that occasion. Derrylaughan have the ball. Emma McAliskey with a shot at the post, and that ball goes to the right and wide. And Elaine, we're neutrals here, but you're nearly willing that ball to go over the bar.
Yeah, certainly. Look, they need to get a couple of scores to keep them in it. They've conceded a big score in the goal at the far end, so they need a couple of points quickly now to get back into this game and not let Knockananna take control.
Knockananna feel another score is going to put doubt into the minds of Derrylaughan. Derrylaughan keeping themselves going. This is Aisling Hagan to Emma McAliskey. She's covering more ground now in the second half, feels the urgency of this, trying to get Caoimhe Coyle into the game, onto the ball. She has scored in the game already, and the battle there around the 45 metre line, but Knockananna, the simple little touches to win possession back. Aisling Hagan is going backwards, but we've seen with Emer O'Sullivan in the first half, that doesn't bother them too much once they get into the space. But Emma McAliskey is pressing up on Knockananna for Derrylaughan, tries to pick out Emma McShane, but again the little touches. Jessie Byrne there for Knockananna as well, just getting in the way, but Derrylaughan holding on to possession of the ball. Good composure here, pass out to the right, maybe slightly overhit. Knockananna have the ball again, and well won on that occasion by Derva Byrne to Amy Maher down towards the 45 metre line, looking for Sarah Byrne. Derrylaughan trying to stop it. A challenge comes in, a hard challenge it was, there has to be said, on Ava Harmon. It's going to be a free in for Knockananna, and Derrylaughan could have another person talking to the referee.
Absolutely, a reckless enough challenge on Ava Harmon, and I suppose Emma Donnelly out of position probably knew the danger that could accrue maybe if Harmon had gone inside her, but for a player wearing number 21 and wasn't listed to start, she certainly had a huge impact on this game, and she's fought hard up front. She's created some really good scoring chances, although hasn't got on the scoreboard herself just yet.
2 yellow cards in the game for Derrylaughan. The free is taken for Knockananna, and the ball has gone over the bar. That's the score. Ciara Byrne with the score. 7 minutes into the second half, 7 points between the teams, 1-10 to 1-3. If you're a Derrylaughan supporter, you'll be getting very, very worried now.
Yeah, a little bit concerned that Knockananna are just creating their scores a little bit easier. That half back line they have back there of Emily Mulhall, Emily Haddon and Emer O'Sullivan are really, they're a rock there. There's nothing getting through them. When they get inside, look, they have Caoimhe Coyle. She does look like she's capable of maybe trying to get a score inside, but it's to break down that half back line really is proving the issue.
Aisling Hagan for Derrylaughan, trying to get the clearance out as well, down the far side of the field, looking for Shannon Fitzgerald. With another Derrylaughan player in possession, sending it inside. It was Emma McAliskey working hard again, but Knockananna just getting the players in the way and just get the ball out towards the middle. And you get it out towards the middle enough times, the teammate's going to find it for you. Derva Byrne on the move, runs into two players. The referee says she took too many steps. I think in fairness to the referee, he was right in that she kind of asked for the decision one way, and Derrylaughan will get a chance.
Yeah, and credit to Derrylaughan, they got the players in around her, forced her to take that extra step or two. The challenge came in probably a little bit too late for Derva Byrne to get a free from it. She had the steps taken on that occasion, but something now that Derrylaughan really need to get from this.
Needs to get a score here. Emma McAliskey starts the attack again down the direction of Alicia Gervin. She wears number 13, took a swing at it. Caoimhe Coyle there in the middle trying to win the ball, but Knockananna, as Elaine just said, just making it look that little bit easier to get the ball out of tight situations into open space. And another example of it though, Derrylaughan getting the bodies in. Jessie Byrne doing her best to get it up. They've gone backwards again. Emily Haddon is there, and Derrylaughan applying the pressure again. It comes out. Emma McAliskey will go into battle here with Alice Mulhall for the ball, and it looks like it might go to Derrylaughan players' way. Support is in there from Una O'Neill, but again it's back. Who else? Emer O'Sullivan out the field, mightn't have found the intended target. I think it's Cassie Fitzgerald takes the shot for Derrylaughan, and she puts the ball over the bar. 9 minutes into the second half, it's back to a 6-point ball game. They needed it.
Yeah, and the chances that they do seem to create up there, they seem to be able to execute them, but they just haven't, I suppose, been able to create enough golden chances to execute them all correctly.
This is the 2021 AIB All-Ireland Junior B Camogie Final. Knockananna from Wicklow 110, Derrylaughan from Tyrone 1-4. This On the move is Roisin Byrne. Roisin Byrne sends an inside snapshot there from Sarah. Sarah Byrne puts the ball over the bar. Good response from Knockananna. 9 minutes into the second half. 111-1-4.
Yeah, look, and that's the difference, I suppose, is the response to the score. You know, Derrylaughan go up there, they have to work very, very hard to get a point, and then Knockananna come down straight down the centre of the field. A lovely little bit of 1-2 play and a super score for Sarah Byrne.
A throw against Amy Maher on that occasion means Derrylaughan will get a free out and get an opportunity to try and bring this back to a 6. But again, it's just working very, very hard to get anything from this game. It's a new experience for Derrylaughan, we have to be saying. Like, Knockananna have the experience of being in this position before, and it's showing out there in the field.
Yeah, and you know, the hurt from that All-Ireland final defeat is relatively lately. You know, they haven't had to wait the full 12 months that you normally wait after losing an All-Ireland final to try and get back to it, and haven't had to negotiate their county championship and get out again. You know, they were through Leinster and straight into the semi-final then, where they had a massive win over Fulham Gales. So, you know, they have that experience of being in the All-Ireland. They have that, maybe, you know, nerves that you get on your first All-Ireland, but they're showing none of that here today. A little bit slow to start maybe in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but since then they've really dominated all over the field.
Emily Haddon took the free for Knockananna, but Derrylaughan win possession back. Emma McLiskey having a big second half for her team there, trying to lead her charges, especially now that the other joint captain Anna McCann is off the field. She's acting like a leader out there and doing everything she can for Derrylaughan. They've won a sideline cut the far side of the field. Good work from Rachel O'Neill, and it looks like it'll be Emma McShane that'll come up to take this as well, but they just need to get those 2 scores in a row. It hasn't been coming for them. 7 points between the teams, 111-1-4. We look at the clock says 10.5 minutes gone in the second half. Still about 20 odd minutes to go in this game, but that sideline cut didn't go too far. Amy Maher putting in the block as well. She's worked very, very hard for Knockananna over the course of the game. Derrylaughan's pressure wins another place ball. It's like a battle for territory at times, and Derrylaughan just gaining little bits every now and again, but then one stroke and Knockananna will fire it down the other end of the field.
Yeah, and that's the thing, their build up is just a little bit slower, and it allows the Knockananna players to get back and get the numbers back, and when Knockananna then counter attack, they're able to do so with either a lung bursting run that's coming up here or a long clearance from one of that half back line.
It's Ava Harmon with the ball, goes for it towards the goal. Will it drop in? It might drop on top of the goalkeeper Orla Donnelly, and Orla Donnelly puts it out to open space, but she might come out after it herself, because here's Roisin Byrne. Roisin Byrne, the goalkeeper is out. Roisin Byrne sends it inside. There are bodies back there. The ball trickles across the goal to the right and wide, but you can just see Orla Donnelly. She realised, oh dear, what have I done? And she raced out to try and stop that.
Yeah, the clearance came. She handled it really, really well when it dropped in. To be fair, it was a dangerous ball in. Handled it really, really well, but realised her clearance, that she was the closest player to it, so she had to get out after it again.
Laura Hogan with the ball for Knockananna, and the referee says she was fouled in the process, so it's going to be a free in and a chance for Ciara Byrne to build up her impressive tally. We'll run through the scores of the game in just a couple of moments, but it is going to be a Knockananna free. Well, I thought it was going to be a free in, but it's a Derrylaughan player that only marking the ball. You can explain that tactic to me, marking the ball, maybe stop it going in a bit closer and all that.
Yeah, maybe just stop her taking the free quickly, but unusual enough for one that close in, I suppose. Maybe just giving her goalkeeper and her backs a chance just to settle on it on the goal line.
Making sure they definitely can't afford Derrylaughan to concede another goal in this game, especially the way it stands at the moment. But if Ciara Byrne puts this ball over the bar, there'll be 8 points between the teams. 12.5 minutes gone in the second half. Substitutes getting ready for both sides. Ciara Byrne with the shot, she just snatched it. She knew as soon as she hit it the lane it wasn't going to be on target, and why they can afford at this stage should be disappointed nonetheless.
Yeah, disappointing, especially given that Laura Hogan was free across on the 21, and sometimes some of those more difficult frees, the better option is to maybe keep them in play and keep them in front of someone maybe in a better position.
Laura Hogan won the ball back there for Knockananna, tried to find Amy Maher, not to be Derrylaughan getting in the way, but it's Laura Hogan again. Laura Hogan turns inside, told about Amy Maher again, but so Rachel Byrne might be a better option. Rachel Byrne just loses her footing at the wrong time. Derrylaughan have possession, bring it out towards the middle of the field, but again, every time a pass goes, it just spins too quickly for the Derrylaughan player. Lands in Knockananna at the high challenge there. No arguments about that. Shanna Goatland, of course, leading the clearance on that occasion down the field. And it's going to be a Knockananna free, and I was worried there for a moment. I thought he was going to have a word with Cassie Fitzgerald, and she had a yellow card, but maybe he realised that and he said no, we leave that one alone. Knockananna have their free. Yeah,
in fairness to Cassie Fitzgerald, I think it was probably totally accidental, and it was more the dip in and the her left up more than anything else, but lucky girl, you'd often get a yellow card for less than that, so I think maybe a little bit of common sense there.
Rachel Byrne took the free in this occasion, landed it in towards the house. Derrylaughan get it back out towards the D, but can they get possession of the ball? Derrylaughan, if you look at the possession stats that we had them in front of us, there'll be a lot of possession in their own half of the field. The problem is getting it out the field. It comes back very, very quickly. Knockananna have won another free. Another opportunity for the Rachel Byrne going to take this one again. And if she takes this one and puts it over the bar, the gap will be going to 8. It's much closer in than the one she took beforehand that landed in towards the house. And you can see the respect for the free taker. Everybody going quiet here in Drogheda to allow Rachel Byrne take her free. She didn't get the connection on that she wanted, but she finds Sarah Byrne inside. Sarah Byrne surrounded by 2 Derrylaughan players. Can she hold on to possession? There's 3 or 4 green and yellow jerseys around waiting for the breaking ball. Great idea as well not to pack everybody in, but good defending there. Emma Donnelly comes out, decides to kick it out for the 45, get it away from danger. You can just see Derrylaughan are feeling this.
Yeah, look, she was just happy on that occasion, I think, just to get the ball out of play and just avert any real serious danger in there. But unfortunately all these frees, you know, they're lucky probably that Knockananna are not converting a lot of the frees that they are earning in there, but probably 2 easy frees given away, an easy 45 given away there, and just giving Knockananna every chance to stretch that lead.
We're going to have a substitution for Derrylaughan shortly. We can see Nicola McIver, number 18, is getting ready to come on for Sean Fitzgerald. So you can hear the announcement there. There's a second substitution in the game for Derrylaughan. 45 for Knockananna. It's going to be taken by Rachel Byrne. Ciara Byrne was taking these in the first half, but Rachel's taking them in the second. And Rachel Byrne, can she, the third time's a charm, can she put this over the bar? She got a bit too much on a down occasion, sent it to the right. I'm wondering about the change of free taking. I know Ciara missed a bad free there a moment ago, but she'd been hitting them reasonably well over the course of the game, but they've changed the free taker and they're not having much more luck.
No, and I'm wondering, is it because Rachel maybe has a stronger strike into whatever little bit of a breeze is there, but maybe while she has the distance she mightn't quite have the accuracy of what Ciara has up front, and look, maybe be better off to let Ciara get them, keep them on target and keep them in play.
We're inside the final quarter of this 2021 AIB All-Ireland Junior B Club Camogie final, brought to you in association with Entry here on the Camogie Association YouTube channel. Knockananna from Wicklow 111, Derrylaughan from Tyrone 1-4, and Derrylaughan need to make something happen soon, and maybe something will happen with Alicia Gervin. Alicia Gervin getting inside here now, but good defending getting in the way. The foul was committed, but it was still good defending from Emily Mulhall. She put the body in the way, stopped the player going at the concession of a free, something they can afford.
Yeah, Emily Mulhall and Gerald Byrne getting back quickly there, and they shall not pass at all costs, I think. And as you said, some good defending, maybe not by the rule book, but certainly happy to take one for the team on that occasion and just stop Derrylaughan getting into to maybe create anything bigger inside.
Referee is a yellow card for a Knockananna defender. I'm guessing it was Emily Mulhall, but we'll confirm that in a moment. Nonetheless, it is a yellow card for them. It's a free in for Derrylaughan. Need to get a score out of this. 13 minutes to go. 7 points between the teams. Bring it back to 6. That should be the target here. Alicia Gervin takes the free and she puts the ball over the bar. It's a 6-point ball game, Elaine, 1-5 to 111.
Yeah, look, and I suppose it's the response now, and it's how they deal with Knockananna. You know, as we said, they've been finding their scores a little bit easier up front, and for Derrylaughan, they just need to consolidate for a while, not concede anything else, and try to create something themselves up front.
Dervin Byrne was the player that got the yellow card. It's on the attack down the left hand side. Derrylaughan now is going to spring in the step for a big push in this final quarter. Of course, as I say, it's only a 6-point ball game. One goal can change the whole complexion of this contest. While Knockananna are looking red hot favourites to be champions, this isn't a done deal yet.
No, and you feel that if Derrylaughan are going to get back into this game, it is goals that they're going to need. They don't look like they're going to outpoint Knockananna, so it looks like they are going to need to create goals. And in fairness to the Knockananna defence, they've been stout back there. They haven't let in anything too easy, and they've been able to take the yellow cards when they've needed. So an experienced set of defenders there.
Alicia Gervin getting ready to take this free again for Derrylaughan, about 40 yards out, but a difficult angle. She goes to the post, unfortunately for herself. That ball goes to the left and wide. It remains a 6-point ball game. That was always going to be a difficult one. I hope she gets another goal to try and see can she get a score as well, but she's doing what she can. Yeah,
probably one that she could maybe have tried to keep in play again and try and create something inside maybe, and try and create a goal, and at least keep the ball in play rather than giving Knockananna a puck out and a chance to go on the attack again.
Derrylaughan are having a brief period here now where they're just getting the breaks right. They're reading it well. It's another free in for them, and this is the opportunity that I'm hoping Alicia Gervin is going to be given, and indeed it is her who picks up the ball in her hand. Central channel, about 40-45 yards, maybe just inside the 45 metre line. Needs to put it over though, nonetheless. We look at the clock, less than 12 minutes to go. Needs to put this over for Derrylaughan. She takes the free, it looks good, it's gone over the bar. We're back to a 5-point ball game. If you're watching this stream of coverage from Tyrone, or you're cheering on the Tyrone side, don't go away, they're still in this match.
Certainly are. You look, and every point they get closer and every score they get up now will breed extra confidence into them. It'll give them the self-belief. So as I said before, they just need to consolidate now and not concede at the other end.
111 to 1-6, and Knockananna maybe feeling the urgency. They're on the move again. Laura Hogan inside the 45-metre line. There's a player to the left, she went to the right herself, decided to have the shot. Good block by Emma McShane on that occasion, but Knockananna still have an opportunity. Nicola McIver in there for Derrylaughan, fighting for the ball, and that's what they have to do. The referee says there was a foul. Knockananna are going to get their opportunity to get the score, but just like that, as we've said, Elaine, Laura Hogan on the blitzing down the field, gains the yards, and all of a sudden a scoring opportunity that you would fancy them to get.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like. It feels like Derrylaughan have to work slowly, inch by inch, and build up, whereas when Knockananna counter-attack, then it's straight down the middle, and Laura Hogan on that occasion just drawing the defenders, couldn't get the pass off, but did earn the free, and a chance again for Knockananna. They haven't been great at converting them up front, so you know, the pressure on them now maybe to just get one in and just stretch that lead another little bit.
So the yellow card for a Derrylaughan player. The free here now looks like, I think, as Kira is back taking the frees. She takes the free, goes at the post and puts the ball over the bar. Yes, she does. Knockananna have their point. It's a 6-point ball game again, 112 to 1-6.
Yeah, probably a nicer free for Kira there. Didn't quite need the distance that maybe she had been dependent on Rachel for, and you know, used all her experience then to guide it in over the bar. And as I said, that just counteracts the score that Derrylaughan had worked so hard to get at that end.
We're inside the final 10 minutes of this game, and Derrylaughan need to get those goals coming soon, but it's Knockananna with the ball. This is Sarah Byrne. Sarah Byrne knows how important this is. Goes for the shot, hits it to the right and wide. For Knockananna to be tackled in a position that this is the final, because no doubt the shooting at times has been very, very disappointing, but they create enough chances, which is equally important.
Yeah, you know, they are creating the chances, and look, if it was a closer game, maybe, you know, they'd be regretting some of the ones that they're not getting up there, but as I said, they are creating them, and that's the main thing.
Knockananna just spraying the ball around the defence again. Emily Mulhall sending it down towards the middle, looking for a Laura Hogan, and Laura Hogan knew where to run on this occasion. She has the ball, goes towards the 45-metre line, shakes off the two defenders. Sarah Burns inside, good comeback on that occasion by Quiva Coyle, back defending, back helping out Derrylaughan. Jessie Byrne can't get her hands on it. Amy Maher has it. Amy Maher for Knockananna, crossfield pass out. Apologies for the language in the background there, as the board are not happy with the challenge that was put in. Play continues on down towards the far side of the field, and Derrylaughan now can then take advantage of this as Rachel O'Neill tries to hold on to the ball, loses out the battle to Emer O'Sullivan. It's still with Derrylaughan, turning to the right in towards the inside line. This might come for Alicia Gervin. Dermot Byrne, I should say, was keeping very, very tight to our player, has lost the hurl, and the referee, I'm not too sure if that was for the challenge, the drop of the hurl. Either way, Derrylaughan have a free.
I'm not so sure the hurl was dropped more so than chopped out of the hand, but I didn't see much of a free there. You know, I thought Emily Haddon was doing well to stay coming out with the ball on that occasion, and was fairly putting her feet on the line there in front of those tackles, but a chance, as you said, now for Derrylaughan. Alicia
Gervin has to get it. She goes to the score. She hit it wide. It's gone to the left. It turned away. I just thought for a moment it was going over the bar, but not to be. A chance spurned, because Elaine, I know we're at the risk of repeating ourselves. It's like one more Knockananna score, you feel this is game over.
Yeah, you know, Derrylaughan now need to convert every chance they get up there. They are chasing a game, and they do need to start getting scores on the board. So, you know, frees and dead ball situations are ones they really need to convert, and then try to see what they can create up front. But so it's just worryingly from their point of view, Quiva Coyle back in her own half back line there a few minutes ago, trying to dispossess one of the Knockananna attackers. So, you know, that's not where Derrylaughan need her. They need her up front, trying to create those scores.
We were having a hold up and play for attention for Anya Heagney, the centre back for Derrylaughan. She's okay, she's back on the field, getting back into the action, knowing how important these last 7 minutes are in this Junior B final as they try and save this tie. Long ball delivered in towards Una O'Neill. Can she win the race ahead of Emily Haddon? Emily Haddon has done well, has won the ball back. No, she passed the ball away. I think it might be Emer Sullivan trying to bring it out there. The battle again, 3 players fighting for possession of the ball. One of them from Knockananna, 2 of them from Derrylaughan. Derrylaughan Derrylaughan get a third body in, a snapshot towards the goal, a chance. Una O'Neill, but it came to Loretta Mutton. I'm not too sure who got the clean strike on that, but Loretta Mutton got in the way nonetheless. Una O'Neill gets another goal, a shot, and the defender off the line. A third opportunity. It's like ping pong in front of the goal, but Derrylaughan wanted to hit the net. And Knockananna have managed to keep the ball out twice. We get Elaine touching that in a moment, and eventually it goes out for a 45. Elaine, you might make more sense out of that, because I couldn't keep up.
No, as you said, ping pong, it was in and out, it was off the line. I'm not sure how many times it was taken off the line by Knockananna defenders, but you know, they're living on their nerves back there, and for having been so dominant for so long in this game, it would have been a shame on their defenders to let a goal creep in at this stage of the game. But for Derrylaughan, it gives them hope, and you know, the chances are there now. They just need to convert them.
Sinead Byrne will be coming on the field of play for Knockananna in a moment. She did start the semi-final victory, but a substitute today. She'll be coming on for Ava Harmon, who's given everything she can for the Knockananna cause in this game. And like Ava Harmon, in fairness, I would say it's probably just the legs are gone now. She's done so much.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of a bit of fresh blood in their fresh legs, as you said, just to bring a bit of impetus to that attack. But you know, credit to Ava Harmon, as I said, Weir in 21 wasn't due to start today, but put in a massive shift there for Knockananna today, not only for what she did like going forward, but the tackling she did going back, the balls she played in, and the scores and chances she created for other players around her.
The free this time taken by Emma McAliskey, and it's gone to the right and wide. Another opportunity spurned by Derrylaughan, and once Sinead is into the field of play, we're going to have another in a moment. Sinead O'Neill from Derrylaughan is about to enter the field of play. Both managements emptying their benches, even Knockananna, I should say. I was about to say different knock. Knockananna are getting a few substitutes ready. They feel the job is nearly there. One more point should do it. Emma McShane coming off the field of play for Sinead O'Neill. I'm surprised with that one myself personally, but nonetheless it's getting new fresh bodies out in the field.
Yeah, look, I suppose at this stage, look, it's a roll of the dice from both sets of management. Derrylaughan trying to get something and maybe looking to create a couple of goal scoring opportunities up front, and Knockananna, as you said, looking to maybe tag on that extra point that will just see them 3 scores clear.
No, it was actually a mistake there from the fourth official. It's Cassie Fitzgerald's gone off for Sinead O'Neill. Emma McShane on the field of play. Knockananna have the ball, and you just feel one more point for Knockananna, and they're going to flood the subs onto the field of play for the final moments to enjoy this and the great work that's been done in both Wicklow and Tyrone Camogie. Again, another example of it. Across the ball nearly came for Laura Hogan on the occasion. Not to be, supporters coming in as Sarah Byrne tries to get a bit of space there to go for a shot. Good defending there. Ashleen Hagan battling for the ball for Derrylaughan, brings it out to a teammate, and an attack down the right, and is out in the middle of the field again, and Knockananna is trying to get the touch, get the extra body in there. Sinead O'Neill doing well for Derrylaughan to get in the way, and a boot goes in. The referee blows the whistle, but Elaine just a thought that came into my mind there. The great work being done in both Wicklow and Tyrone Camogie. They're building up a bit of a rivalry at Intercounty. Indeed, Wicklow beat Tyrone last week in the Intercounty League, which was considered a surprise here as well. And of course we talked about Nate Trass and Knockananna in the other final as well. Another good example of the great work being put into Camogie in both counties.
Yeah, and schools Camogie and Wicklow going really, really well at the moment as well. And you know, as they say, a rising tide lifts all boats. So certainly if you have your schools and your clubs going well, there's a good chance your intercounty team is going to be going well. And both of these teams are obviously doing a lot of work at grassroots level, be it through the clubs or through the schools, and it's certainly shown then on the intercounty stage.
And you can hear the hard challenges going in from both teams there. There's going to be a few bruises at the end of this match. 3 minutes to go here. 6 points between the teams. 112 to 1-6. Can Derrylaughan get that second goal that might change the complexion of this game? Emer Breslin is coming on the field for Knockananna to replace Alice Mulhall in the closing stages. It's going to be a Derrylaughan ball. When we restart the action, they need this goal, Elaine. They need this fast.
Yeah, look, they need to get a goal, I think, to get themselves back in. It's going to look like a 2-goal game now if they need to get them. And you know, for Knockananna, I suppose the worry is that they haven't put that point in it to put them 7 up. It's still 2 scores, and look, we've seen how quickly it can turn with the balls cleared off the line there in the last few minutes from Knockananna. So you know, really important for them to get something from this.
When you can see a substitution like Emer O'Sullivan coming off, you get the impression that Knockananna think they've the job done here. But of course, one goal could change everything here in the closing stages. Are they jumping into these substitutions a bit early?
Yeah, maybe they weren't in for the end of the Clanmorris own rule game, but if they'd seen that late goal from Jackie Horgan and a point in it, and we come counting down the last couple of seconds, maybe they wouldn't be taking off players the likes of Emer O'Sullivan, who've had such a great game. But look, maybe it's a case of getting players on, getting fresh bodies in, and trying to see it out.
Caoimhe Coyle gets the free there for Derrylaughan in the 59th minute. I felt myself there was a bit of a resigned look about taking the point there. I thought that would have been dropped in. It's a 5-point ball game nonetheless.
Yeah, look, and it just edges them a little bit closer, and you just feel until Knockananna get that score and, you know, really put the game beyond them, that chance still exists.
There's a battle down in defence as well, Knockananna pushing players back. Derrylaughan is getting 3 bodies in there trying to fight for the ball. They need this now, they need anything. They certainly need 2 or 3 more scores to save this game. And Emma McAliskey down the right hand side of the field sends the ball across, just blocked down the occasion. Knockananna, even though they've changed 2 defenders there, there's still plenty of players willing to fight for the ball, but Derrylaughan have possession. The ball is sent inside. Can it fall out for Derrylaughan? This is the opportunity that they wanted. Is there a chance for Rachel O'Neill? Knocked down, second shot there. Knockananna haven't cleared it yet. Is there a third one? Rachel O'Neill there again, and it's stopped. And there has been 2 massive goal scoring opportunities for Derrylaughan in this half, and I don't know how they haven't gone in. But they haven't. Knockananna have stood firm. I
don't know how Knockananna have kept them off the line back there. They look to have gone in. I've gone for the pen a couple of times to write them down, but time and time again they come out off the line. And I think it's Loretta Mutton on that occasion got into it, got her hand to it and got it out. They've conceded a 45, but I think they'll gladly take the concession of a 45 given what could have been gone on in there.
You can't fault Derrylaughan for throwing everything they have at this to try and save the tie. They will get an opportunity to get a score. There's I'm not too sure it's the goalkeeper, but it's Knockananna player just receiving some treatment there, so we're going to have a hold up, add to the suspense of the last couple of stages. 5 seconds to go of normal time. We're waiting to see from the 4th official how much added. 3 minutes. Elaine has seen the signal from Sarah Govern, who's the 4th official here today, as we've 3 more minutes after I suppose we restart the play, so we could have a bit more than that yet, Elaine, before this comes to an end.
Yeah, and I suppose from a Knockananna point of view, if I was on that team, I'd be saying to whoever is down on the line or down on the ground there to get up and try and get this played, because the longer that the Knockananna's player stays down, the longer we have to play, and that 3 minutes will go on to, as you said, whatever we have to play when we restart. So, you know, it's given a chance to Derrylaughan, and you feel that if they could just get something from this now, they just find themselves that little bit closer, and they are obviously creating the goal chances. They haven't converted one yet since early in that first half, but, you know, once you're creating the chances, there's always the chance that it'll go in.
And if this goes over the bar, if they go for it, it gives them the glimmer of hope, because suddenly 4 points, it feels manageable, even if 2 scores as well. But it has to go over, or if it goes dead, it has to only go dead in the back of the net. They decide to go backwards. Derrylaughan need to be careful what they're doing, because they're just delaying a bit of time. We have restarted the play, and the ball has been given away. Well, Ciara Byrne, they haven't lost it completely at Derrylaughan, but they were a bit careless on that occasion. Emma McAliskey comes out to get back on with this now. Sends it in towards the attack, was trying to find O'Neill on that occasion, and Derrylaughan working away, and again they're trying to walk this in. You would feel the pass for Emma McAliskey, the captain, but she just sees the green and yellow wall. She can't get past at the moment. Tried to get the pass to O'Neill, loses possession, but they've given the ball away. Derrylaughan will get another goal. Cueva Coyle drops the ball in towards the house. They're chasing this goal in at the goalkeeper, and Loretta Mutton does well, but she has to have a second goal. Derrylaughan, the bodies are back in again. The referee spots a foul, a free out there. Surely the chance is gone now.
Yeah, and a sigh of relief from Knockananna. I think we've seen a lot of their goalkeeper and their full back line in the last few minutes, and it's not the way I suppose you want to see out the final few minutes of an All-Ireland final, but look, they'll be happy to have gotten away with it, and Derrylaughan will be just a little bit disappointed, I suppose, that they haven't managed to create something like this a little bit sooner in the game.
Out towards the middle of the field again, and the referee blows the whistle for a push. It's going to be a Derrylaughan ball. They need 2 goals or 3 scores. It's that simple. Officially we've 1 minute to go. I'd imagine we've probably 2 based on the goalkeeper Loretta Mutton being down for a couple of moments as well, but Derrylaughan, they need to get 1 goal one way or the other, and then see what way the dice roll for them. They have won the free in. Cueva Coyle winning it on this occasion. Elaine, what do you do in this position?
Look, I think you need to get the goal maybe and hope to win the puck out. I think they need something like a goal now just to give them that lift, to put a little bit of doubt in Knockananna minds, and maybe get the goal, chance winning the puck out or chance creating something from the next puck out and getting the second score off that.
So it's a free for Derrylaughan. We look at the clock, nearly 63 minutes have been played. 3 minutes were indicated, and Emma McAliskey tried to send it in but couldn't get over the green and yellow, and you can hear a Knockananna supporter saying get it out, but Derrylaughan have the ball. They're trying to work it in. Cueva Coyle with the pass across to Emma McShane along the ground. It's gone across the line to the right and wide, and surely now Knockananna have done enough to be crowned the All-Ireland Junior B Camogie champions. Surely now we're not going to have much more time. There might be one more passage to play. We will see. All eyes are on the referee Kieran Groom from County Offaly. Play continues on. We thought we might get an extra 60 seconds on top of the 3 minutes, and Derrylaughan continue their push. They will still believe until the final whistle goes, and Knockananna just have to hold them out now, and they do. They get the bodies back, they hold them out. The referee looks at the watch, and Laura Hogan sends the ball down the field again, but only as far as Emma Donnelly, who'll send it back down. A good drive down for Derrylaughan down. It falls for Alicia Garvin. Alicia Garvin tried to pull the trigger. I don't know, many Knockananna players got in the way of that, but they did nonetheless. The referee blows the final whistle. It's all over, and Wicklow's Knockananna are the 2021 AIB All-Ireland Junior B Club Camogie champions. Elaine, your thoughts?
Yeah, and look who was on the end of that was Rachel Byrne down her own full back line defending that last shot. But look, I suppose they got the early, Knockananna conceded that early goal. They've obviously learnt their lessons from last year's All-Ireland final when they couldn't quite recover to get back over it. They dominated most of that game, and probably had they taken half the opportunities that they missed, should have been home and hosed far sooner than coming down the home straight there. But credit to Derrylaughan, you know, they brought the fight to them, and I suppose for a team in their first All-Ireland final, they'll just be a bit disappointed. Maybe they didn't build on that early goal and maybe try and get a little bit closer at half time, but certainly coming down the home straight there, they certainly gave their management team and their supporters something to cheer on and something to build on going forward.
They won't appreciate this in Derrylaughan, but their spirits in the final whistle there, because it was a game that Knockananna had chances really to put this to bed and make this a comfortable procession to the end, but it wasn't. We had ping pong style balls bouncing around the place. We couldn't keep up with it. How none of them ended up in a goal, we'll never understand. Credit to Knockananna defence as well for holding firm too, but Derrylaughan, they kept fighting, but just needed that goal.
Yeah, and look, for Derrylaughan, on other days those goals go in, those chances, like, I have no idea how they kept them all out down there, to be fair. Like, and credit, as you said, Knockananna defence, they did keep them out there, and that's all that counts. But on another day for Derrylaughan, they'll go in, and a goal like that gives you a bit of momentum and it gives you a springboard going forward. You know, they created enough chances in the end. They were economical enough with their chances in the first half. They probably only had 4 or 5, and they scored the vast majority of them, but just probably didn't create as many chances. Knockananna, on the other hand, just had too many players up front who were able to convert when they got the chance, and ultimately I think that was the difference.
Knockananna are celebrating. The presentation is coming up here shortly on our Camogie Association stream. Before that, Elaine, your top players overall and your overall player of the match.
Yeah, I suppose, look, from a Derrylaughan point of view, they carried the fight up front. Caoimhe Coyle, Una O'Neill with that goal, but really I suppose most of the opportunities were from the Knockananna side. You know, they defended stoutly throughout. They obviously had to reshuffle a little bit at the back due to missing their full back Anya Byrne, but you know, they reshuffled admirably and had players all over the field. At half back line, we said Emily Mulhall, Emily Haddon and Emer O'Sullivan were outstanding throughout. But look, really for me, I suppose, although she had number 10 on her back, she was playing at centre back, and Shanna Gosselin was probably for me the standout player. She drove forward at every given opportunity. Look, she had plenty competition up front. All the Burns has got on the scoring sheet up there, but I think it was the supply of ball that was coming forward from number 10 time and time again that gave them those opportunities to create the scoring chances. So for me, she was the standout player today. Congratulations,
Shannon Gotlin, you are the player of the match here. Knockananna from Wicklow, All-Ireland Junior B Camogie champions. Congratulations to them. 112-17 victory. Don't go away anywhere. We'll have the presentation coming up shortly, and then we'll have reaction from the winning camp here in Drogheda, and we'll be back in just a couple of moments with the presentation.
do the presentation. First of all, I want to thank our rallies for their use of their lovely facilities here today, and what a beautiful weather we got for this game. So that made it so much more perfect for today. We also want to thank AIB, our sponsors, for the continued support of the club championships, and we really appreciate that so much. To all our match officials for today for doing such a great job, and of course then to our Camogie Association staff who work so tirelessly to make sure everything went smoothly today. Thank you. And now to the match itself, another hard-fought game, girls. You know, it was anybody's game, I suppose, there in the last 5 or 10 minutes, please. But Knockananna, you had a great victory there, so well done. I'm going to call the captain, Laura Hogan, to come and take the program.
Oh, I was like, do I just take it? Sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
So I'm going to try this in Irish. So Uachtaráin Camogie tá as an down armor and Cur Charlotte Glacha Ersan Erin Knockananna! That's the end of that now. I don't have answers prepared, so I apologise in advance if I forget anyone. First of all, I'd just like to thank the Camogie Association for organising not only today the facilities, but a double header today. It's really great for the clubs involved that it was a double header and that there could be 2 All-Ireland finals today. It created a bit more of a buzz about it. So thank you very much. Thank you to the club here for allowing us to use their facilities. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name, but thank you. To the referee and his officials, thank you for officiating a great game. You did a great job, so thank you very much. To our sponsors, and also to O'Keefe's and Knockananna, thank you very much for all of your support throughout the year, and we look forward to the continued support for the years to come. To our supporters, family, friends, partners, absolutely everyone that jumps on the bandwagon and supports us day in, day out, thank you so much. We absolutely could not do it without you. You give us so much support on a daily basis, and every one of us appreciate it so much. To Tom, Serge, Loretta, Dawn, Angela, Kelly, and Paddy, and sugar I can't. Martina, sorry, I can't remember. It's like I'm forgetting. Sorry, Martina. Thank you so much for all of your support throughout the year. Tom and Serge, honestly, we wouldn't be here without you. You're absolutely 2 phenomenal men. You're so easygoing, and you just let us go play camogie every single day, and you're just an absolute pleasure to play under, and I hope that you continue to stay with the team for many years to come. So thank you very much. We honestly cannot thank you enough. To Derrylaughan, girls, you're an absolutely phenomenal team. You fought right to the bitter end, and like, I don't know how many girls were kept out for us there, or the backs kept out for us there. It really could have went anyway in the end. You're a phenomenal team, so thank you very much for a great game, and I wish you all the best in the future. So a round of applause for Derrylaughan. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting anyone else, so if I have to thank anyone, I'm just going to say thank you all now. But I'm going to finish off by thanking the most important people here, and that is the 26, 27, whatever it is, girls that are on that panel. Girls, you're absolutely phenomenal women. I cannot say enough about you. You just go out and you play camogie every single day of the week. There's no complaining or little to no complaining. You just get on with it, and you're just an absolute pleasure to play alongside, and it's an absolute honour to be your captain. So just thank you for all putting on that Knockananna jersey for the last 2 years or beyond. And look, I just hope we all stay together and we can have more success in the future. So you're just absolutely unreal, and I just can't say enough about it. So I think that's it.
Well, you can see the celebrations there in the background, but over here I'm joined by the winning Knockananna manager Tom Byrne. And Tom, first things first, you came back, you performed on the day, and you're All-Ireland champions.
So look, it's a great feeling. Like I'm kind of lost for words. Like it was just a tremendous game even to watch. You know, we started off slow, and then we were cruising for a while, and then they came back. Like they're a great team, and they came back, and we just held on near the end there. And it's just a super win, just delighted for the girls. It's brilliant.
What was the feeling leading into the match as well? But of course, the loss to Naitras in the previous final was still raw. Yes, you 3 games played since you got the results to get back to the final as well. But no doubt there were some nerves there.
Yeah, I think that's what helped us as well. It pushed us on, like we the hurt of losing in All Ireland the last time. So we said we weren't going to let that happen again. And we got a big blow before the game. We lost our full back through a hamstring injury, and we had to rejig a few players. But look, the girls just stood up and took it in their stride and pushed on and went out for a great feat.
It was a difficult start. You can see the 2 scores, you got 2 back, but then the goal going against you, maybe a bit careless at the time to go 3 down, but you must have been so impressed with the response of your team.
Yeah, look, we talked about going out there to get a good start, and kind of the opposite happened. But just shows the character of the girls. You know, they didn't put the heads down. They just knuckled down and got a few scores on the board, kicking the points over, and just great ending to the game, and just held out like they're super bunch of girls.
It wasn't just the scoring at the end, and we'll mention that at the moment. Defensively, became rock solid. Your half-back line in particular was superb.
Defence was unbelievable. Like, look, the girls were just throwing themselves in front of shots to block it down. Like, they weren't thinking about their safety. They were just thinking about and get that cut back to Knockananna. And our back line was superb there in that last 5 minutes when the real pressure was on. Like, they just stood up, and unbelievable.
I want to include Jessie Byrne and Amy Maher in front of the half-back line as well in midfield too. They did the exact same thing, laid the platform for your attackers to make it account the other end.
Yeah, look at Jessie and Amy midfield there. The work rate, Amy was on fire there, like she was like a woman possessed. You know, the work rate out there and the movement, and then the forwards up front, like some great movements, and they're always looking for it or a pass. You know, and we picked out them into pass, and we got some lovely scores, I thought, and you know.
The big score in the second half, just when Derrylaughan was starting to, and they did ask a few questions in the second half. Rachel Byrne's goal, what a bullet to the back of the net, but it gave you a buffer.
Yeah, look, when you see Rachel winding up, you know it's going to be a bullet. Like, so if it goes on target, it generally goes in, you know, because I've been behind in goals when she'd strike a ball like that, and she gets great power into them. And lucky enough, it went in, and that was the platform for us to push on and get the win.
Tom, before I let you go, what does this mean to Camogie, Knockananna, and even in Wicklow as well? Great work being done throughout the county, let alone the club as well, and this is only going to add to it.
Oh, look, it means so much, especially to our club in Knockananna. Like, you know, we're not a big set up, and like this, just we're in dreamland at the moment, and it's great for Wicklow Camogie. Like Wicklow, it's on the up. We've some great underage teams coming up there as well, and it can only all be good for Wicklow Camogie, and you know so.
Well, Tom, I'm going to let you go and celebrate with Knockananna at the moment. You go on there. We're going to call over the player of the match here in a moment. Tom, well done. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
So we're just going to call over the player of the match here in a moment. Shanna Gatlin is going to come join us here. Shanna, how are you keeping? Come over here to the mic. You're just talking to the microphone there as well. First things first, I can see the smile on your face. Congratulations, All-Ireland champions.
Thanks very much. Yeah, it means a lot.
You worked hard out there. Like the scoreboard says 5 points. I suppose a few chances were missed in attack, but at the end of the day, you hit the final whistle of that.
Yeah, Tom told us to go out and be mad women, so that's what we wanted to do for him, because you'd run through a wall for him, in fairness. But the girls, honestly, we never let up. Now Derrylaughan never let us get away, in fairness. But I think our work rate really showed today.
And it showed out there as well, because to give Derrylaughan their due, they pushed you till the final whistle as well. I don't know how they didn't get at least a second goal. The ball was bouncing around so much as well, but she worked so hard to stop it happening.
Yeah, honestly, our full back, our goalie, like I don't know if there was bodies on the line, but everyone stepped up to the plate, subs and everyone. It was a real team effort.
Tom, your manager was saying, of course, who's known you beforehand, an injury to you, to rejig the pack as well. You went into centre back. I don't know how often you play there yourself personally, but you look comfortable at home there in the number 6 position, wearing the number 10 jersey.
Yeah, honestly, I think I moved around a bit this year, but yeah, we were all gutted for Anya. Like, she's been so solid all year, but I think we had to do it for her this time as well. There was an added incentive there.
Like, defensively as a whole unit, you'd work hard together, but as a half-back three as well, you always seem to know what to do with the ball, whether it was driving it forward or even at times taking a few steps back to get the better option as well. You look very composed throughout the back line.
Yeah, no, there's severe competition there for the half-back line, in fairness, but the communication there, you can't beat it. I mean, Emily Mulholland talked her ear off the whole way through the match, and Emer, she's a young one, but she's come on so well. They're a credit to themselves.
What does this mean to this group of players? It's probably a silly question to ask when you win an All-Ireland, but of course you had the recent pain of losing an All-Ireland final. To get yourselves back there, it can often be a struggle to keep the thing going as well. But when I look around here at the moment, Knockananna are here to stay.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's absolutely everything. I mean, when we were warming up, we were thinking about the heartbreak and the feeling of last year. There's nothing worse, so we're like, we can't have that again this year, so we just want to keep driving, and this is the level that we want to be at, and we want to keep going.
Shannon, 2 questions before I let you go. Your feelings, your thoughts on the final whistle when you realised it, because I know you probably couldn't relax until that final whistle came, but your feeling when that final whistle blew and you were All-Ireland champions.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Actually, I think the ball was in our full backs. Like, it just came out of nowhere. Like, I thought, I was like, did I actually hear the whistle? But then I needed to jump into someone's arms. You can't beat it.
Well, looking forward to that. Finally, Shanna, if you just look at that camera up there, you can tell everybody in Knockananna and Wicklow exactly what the celebration homecoming plans are for tonight.
Yes, so we're going back to Knockananna O'Keefe's pub for food and drinks, so it'd be great to get some support down there. Thanks very much.
And it's going to be a Saturday night party. Shanna Gatlin, congratulations, you're the player of the match. Knockananna All-Ireland champions. Let you go and celebrate. Well done. So that was the player of the match for Knockananna, Elaine Aylward, coming over for her final thought on a busy day, Elaine. But we said it at the very start of the day today. A lot of people will look at Croke Park tomorrow, and understandable, that's where a lot of attention will be. But anybody to miss today, hopefully to watch the stream back on repeat, because we were really entertained here today.
Absolutely, the entertainment started at 12:30 here today, and neither of the two finals disappointed. They were right down in contention right to the final whistle. 2 really hotly contested games, the skill on show, the physicality, both games flew. You know, there was little to no freeze in a lot of them. It flew completely between it. The passages of play were just immense, and you know, it sets the tone for the whole weekend, and it's brilliant to see the 2 junior finals here today as a double header. together as a build up to the two finals tomorrow. And the two finals today stood in their own right and stood on their own merits. There were two fantastic finals, and it really sets the tone for the weekend.
That's something that needs to be looked at down the line as well, to make it a finals weekend as well. I know, as Hilda Breslin said earlier on, it's difficult to get a double header at this time of the year as well, but it certainly added to the occasion. I think Laura Hogan mentioned in her speech there as well, it gave an occasion, because if we're going to push and promote the games in counties like Kerry, Derry, Wicklow and Tyrone, you want occasions like this.
Absolutely. And look, there's no senior Division 1 I suppose games this weekend in the league, so it's a weekend that's there to promote the club championship and to have those four finals, and it does give a bit of traction when the four of them are on the one weekend, and people are talking about the Camogie Club final weekend, and you have four finals to talk about. So yeah, as we say, look, it's difficult probably to find the pitches to host two games, but I think anyone that was here today, anyone that will watch it back, will feel that it's definitely worth the hardship, or whatever hardship is there, to try and get pitches to make it a club finals weekend, and be it two double headers, or just to make it all about the club weekend, because it is a massive competition and it means so much to players all over the country, right at the grassroots level of camogie and hurling, when you look at the AIB sponsorship of it. So it is a massive weekend, and fitting that it gets the stage it deserves.
And like for Knockananna here as well, right behind us regards this game as well, and for Wicklow Camogie in general, like days like this are going to help, because that's what it's all about, get more counties involved playing camogie, and they're going to celebrate, they're going to enjoy this and inspire young Wicklow girls to pick up the hurl and go play camogie.
Absolutely, that's the thing. Knockananna will now be on the camogie map, and there's girls, as you said, around Wicklow now who are going to go and get involved. They're going to go find their local camogie club, and they'll want to copy what Knockananna have done here today, and it gives real momentum to Wicklow Camogie then going into the league and going into championship, that they can welcome back All Ireland winners and Knockananna players and add that to what they've already got in Wicklow. And as we mentioned in commentary, Wicklow Camogie on the up at the moment, all good things happening there, and this can only add to it.
Elaine, two quick questions before I let you go. Of course, it's the first half of a bumper weekend. Let's quickly talk about tomorrow. What are you expecting from Croke Park? First, St. Rynagh's against Saltine-Loughnacare.
Yeah, look, I suppose St. Rynagh's will go in as raging hot favourites, and if they needed a little reminder maybe that it's not always the favourites tag, they'll have looked at Clanmorris here today and looked at their hardship and realised that sometimes the underdogs can come with a bit of a sting in the tail. It's probably a big step up for Saltine-Loughnacare, but sometimes with that kind of inexperience and youth comes complete abandonment, and they may thrive on the open fields of Croke Park tomorrow. But look, from a neutral point of view, we'd have to think that Rynagh's are rightly favourites for it. They've been building for this for a couple of years. They've been beaten in semi-finals and finals, and they're finally back in Croke Park tomorrow. Now I'd expect them to put the intermediate title back to back to the one they won Thurles just a few weeks ago, and expect to see them maybe, or the Offaly champions, contesting the senior championship next year.
And definitely one of the most eagerly awaited club rematches anyway in recent history. Sarsfields against Out of the Balloch, just 11 weeks on I think from their meeting in Nolan Park, and here they are again going toe to toe for the title.
Yeah, and how brilliant is it that we only have to wait 11 weeks because of the rematch. The 18th of December in Nolan Park, Owlert stormed out of the traps and left Sarsfields chasing them for the rest of that game. So I expect the opening 15-20 minutes tomorrow to be absolutely electric. Everyone knows Owlert are going to want that quick start and then let Sarsfields try and chase them and reel them back in. Sarsfields know that they're going to need to go up there tomorrow and try and stop that quick start. They never got out of the dressing rooms for the first 10-15 minutes in Nolan Park, and ultimately that's what cost them. They probably matched Owlert from there to the finish, but just couldn't quite reel in the deficit that they had let Owlert built up. So look, there's goal scoring opportunities on each side. Una Lacey's a goal getter on one end, Siobhan McGrath at the other end. There's massive midfield partnerships there, the Keos and Nene Kern, versus Niamh and Clodagh McGrath in the middle of the fields for Sarsfields, the likes of Laura Ward. There's talent to burn on both sides. They know one another so well. The history is there, the rivalry is built up, and as I said, we've only had to wait 11 weeks for it to all boil over again in Croke Park tomorrow.
And I can't wait to wait just 24 hours for all that again tomorrow in the super weekend of Camogie. Elaine Aylward, thanks a million for joining me here in the commentary box. I'm Darren Kelly, and also to our cameraman, producer, engineer David O'Shea there, who made it all happen here with Entry on behalf of the Camogie Association. Half the big Camogie weekend is over, and congratulations to Owen Rua from Derry and Knockananna from Wicklow here, Junior B All-Ireland champions, 112-107 victory against Derrylaughan. Make sure you watch the coverage live on RT tomorrow if you can make it to Croke Park for the senior and intermediate finals. Another bumper day of Camogie expected, but we hope you enjoyed our coverage here today in the Camogie Association YouTube channel. It was a pleasure to bring it to you, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon. Owen Rua, Knockananna, All-Ireland champions. Who'll win tomorrow? We'll find out. To Elaine, David and myself, Darren Kelly, thank you very much.